What's up, guys? This is Brian J's Nerd Talk, and I just got home from the IMAX showing of Christopher Nolan's Interstellar. This is the 10-year anniversary for the movie, and I saw it in IMAX, the big IMAX screen at Lincoln Square Theater, 68th Street, the big IMAX screen, and that's really the best way to watch the movie because it takes up the whole screen. You see everything. The 70 millimeter high definition IMAX film format, you see everything. You see every part of the ship, of the wheats, the cornfields, the outer space, and it's really, since 2001 Space Odyssey, I would say Interstellar is one of the most accurate depictions of space travel because in the space scenes there is no sound in outer space. It's a more accurate depiction of space travel than Gravity, because I do love Gravity. It's a really good movie, but Gravity had sound in space after saying there wasn't going to be sound in space. And in Interstellar, there's no sound in space at all. And it was so done really, really well by Nolan. The filmmaking is great. The VFX is amazing. Matthew McConaughey gives one of his best performances. He knocked it out of the park. And yeah, the acting is great. VFX is great. And I used to think this movie was terrible. I saw it 10 years ago. Thought it was one of the worst movies of 2014. Probably the worst movie I saw that year. Next to Transformers 4. But 10 years later, after thinking about it for 10 years off and on and watching it in the correct format, I will have to say that Interstellar is a good movie. It definitely improved on a second viewing because I saw in the format it's supposed to be. And it just looks incredible in IMAX, the 70 millimeter IMAX. But what are my issues with the movie? Well, I still feel there's way too much exposition dialogue, way too much over-explaining over every little fucking thing. I mean, if a character, went to the bathroom, they would probably describe the process in like almost vivid detail and going to the bathroom in a spaceship in outer space, or where does it go? Where does it get deposited or something? It's just way too much exposition dialogue. Some of the dialogue is also terrible and cringe, especially with Anne Hathaway saying love is the one thing that transcends time and space or whatever she said. That was really bad. It's still bad 10 years later. And emotionally, it's not that impacting. I just didn't care. I'm not super invested with Cooper and his daughter and stuff like that. And, that whole story. I feel like Nolan is trying to go for sentimentality. And he's a great filmmaker, but he's not as great as Steven Spielberg was in his prime, in his best year. And Spielberg can still make great movies, but Spielberg was the master at sentimentality and really tugging at the heartstrings and creating this emotional impact with his movies. E.T. is one of the most emotional films ever made. And same with Close Encounters, Jaws, Jurassic Park, Color Purple, Schindler's List. Spielberg from the 70s to the 90s was something else. And he still makes great stuff, but Nolan, I felt like a lot of that just kind of fell kind of flat because he's not that type of director. The type of director he is something like Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer was perfect emotionally for a Nolan movie. But yeah, Interstellar was good. It was better on a second viewing than it was a first viewing. This is my second viewing 10 years later. And I will have to give the movie a 7 out of 10. My first rating of this movie was a 4 out of 10, but now I give it a 7 out of 10. And so, yeah, Interstellar is good. Seeing it 10 years later was good. It's a well-made movie, and I would have to say that I don't think Nolan has ever made a bad movie so far in his career. So that's great. And this is Brian J's Nerd Talk. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.